Nếu mà không có thì Hà xin hỏi sau ạ. Dạ. Dạ.
Em nghĩ em nghĩ chị cứ hỏi đi, xong rồi nếu mà ai có thì lại đăng ký sau vậy, chứ hiện giờ em chưa thấy có ai đăng ký.
Dạ. Như vậy thì xin hỏi con kính chào anh Bác Ron, cô Sarah cùng toàn thể Pháp Đàm ạ. Con xin muốn hỏi thêm cái cụm từ mà Dhammadara. Con được nghe trong những cái buổi Pháp Đàm Achan giảng với các đạo hữu quốc tế, nhưng mà con thấy nhắc đi nhắc lại rất là nhiều nhưng con chưa có rõ, và con muốn nhờ các vị thầy giải thêm cho con rõ ạ. Dạ. Dạ.
Yes,
Dạ, cảm ơn
the
ạ.
the term Dhammadara was discussed a lot during the discussion, Dhamma discussion with international friends some time ago. But she still would like to hear more explanation about it because it's still not clear for her what is the meaning of Dhammadara. Thank you.
I think Ajahn can explain in more detail. We know what Dhamma is, and Dara means bearing, so bearing of the Dhamma. But let's invite Ajahn to discuss in detail.
Is there Dhamma now?
Dạ thưa có ạ.
That is Dhammadara. When you do not change, you have firm confidence of understanding what is Dhamma, and now Dhamma is all around. And that is Dhammadara. Understand the meaning, the reality, the truth about it, never change. When someone say that Dhamma is not right now, what would you say? There's no Dhamma now. What would you say? Yes or no? And
Dạ không.
Dhammadara
Đúng
is,
ạ.
according to the answer, is there Dhamma now?
Có câu
Dạ
hỏi.
thưa có Pháp ạ.
Yes, Ajahn.
And that answer is Dhammadara, never change. Understanding more and more and more, firm understanding of Dhamma, not just the word, not just the meaning, but the reality right now. The reality, not the word. Hardness now, seeing now, thinking now, feeling now, memory now. Whatever is there is Dhamma. Little by little, develop on and on, not to forget, not to think in words only, but understanding the nature of Dhamma right now. That's the meaning of Dhammadara.
Dạ con thưa con rõ, con xin trình bày cái hiểu của con là như vậy thì Dhammadara là trì pháp, mà từng mức độ của cái việc mà mình học để hiểu. Còn cái Gochara nó có liên quan gì trong từng cái mức độ hiểu không ạ? Gochara hoặc là Sakchayana hoặc là Patipati, dạ, Pariyati. Con thấy mấy cái cụm từ nó có cái Dhammadara này nó có liên quan đến những cái mức độ hiểu từng cấp độ một hay như thế nào ạ? Dạ, con xin hỏi.
So, according to her understanding, Dhammadara is the moment of understanding what has been heard. So, in
What
relation,
Dhamma is, not just only what is heard. What Dhamma is, not just the meaning of Dhamma.
yes. So, is there any connection with what other terms like Upanisaya Gochara or Patipati or Satchayana?
Okay. If there is no understanding that what is there now appearing can be realized, is that Dhammadara? What is real now can be realized directly, clearly. Is that Dhammadara or no Dhammadara or not Dhammadara? Seeing right now can be realized because it's so real. And there are 3 rounds of Ariya Satya, not just the first round. Not just be sure of the reality that is right now, not only that, but it can be realized too. Otherwise, it's useless to talk about it. So Dhammadara is the understanding of the truth of reality on and on and on and on and on. Depending on what level of Dhammadara, but it's firm confidence of understanding the truth of Dhamma, stage by stage.
And it's interesting because in English translations, it may be same in Vietnamese, they use expressions like knowing Dhamma by heart. So people think that it means having memorized what we have read or this kind of uh, understanding of the terms. But it's not that at all, because it has to be the understanding of the meaning, not the memorizing or knowing the details by heart. It has to be the understanding of what appears now. So I think it includes all the levels, the Upanishad Gochara, all the levels of understanding onwards, the confidence, the understanding by habit of what appears intellectually, and then deeper and deeper.
For example, now, we just talk about seeing. Is it Dhammadara that seeing can be realized? See, if one said no,
Dạ không.
impossible, it's not Dhammadara. So Dhammadara, that what can realize the truth, not I or anyone. So it means the understanding of the truth of Dhamma on and on, deeper and deeper, until each moment of understanding the truth right now is the path, not at the moment at all. So Dhammadara, talking about citta, the reality which has no shape and form at all, just arise, just arise, just arise to experience the object, an object, see. So the object, general word for it is aramana, the object of real of citta at moment when it experiences that particular object. No doubt about what is aramana is Dhammadara. Understanding aramana as that no matter what, which citta experiences through any doorway, even mind door, the object of thought, of thinking at that moment is aramana. But that's not enough. Aramana is so different. What kind of aramana can be the object of realization? See, for example, can seeing be the object of realization? Dhammadara. And
Dạ
people
con.
and things, can it be object of realization?
Dạ không.
That's Dhammadara. So any object which is a reality is the object that should be realized. Kojara is that object, the object which right understanding develops to realize the truth of it. So it has to be the ultimate truth seeing, hearing any reality which has its quality or its characteristic to be known is kojra for the development of right understanding. So aramana is the moment in general for any moment, but when it's kojra, who knows what object is the object of right understanding right now, no matter what, which is real, has to be object of right understanding. So the seeing, that which is seen, and so on, can be object of realization because it's so real and so true. That's why even seeing or that which is seen, the nature of it is kojra for the development of understanding the truth of no one and no self at all. So kojra is aramana, which is proper or which is real, that it has to be object of realization. That's why understanding, realization, realize what object, see. If one thinks, not seeing right now, not that which is seen right now, is it right? Is it right or wrong?
Dạ thưa đúng ạ, rất là
Right,
đúng ạ.
right,
The,
Ajahn.
the answer is Dhammadara when it's right. Answer, see. So Dhammadara is that understanding, deep understanding of the truth. And the object which right understanding develop to realize its nature, its truth, is kojra, the object that the Buddha and his Savaka developed to realize the truth. That's why seeing should be known or not. When it's not known at all, it is kojra, it is aramana of seeing, and it is kojra of seeing as well. When we understand more about what is meant by kojra, its proper object, just for that reality. For example, seeing cannot see sound or smell. Seeing just see visible object. So only visible object is the kojra, the proper object for seeing. So the proper object for right understanding is the reality which has its characteristic to be known, that it's real. So when there's no understanding at all, the seeing and that which is seen cannot be kojra, no understanding. But the more understanding of it, that right understanding realize the nature of seeing and the nature of that which is seen as different realities and so on. It is kojra, but it should be developed on and on and on to be nisya, habits, to understand it. What can be known, seeing right now, what has to be known, what is there appearing. See, so kojra is a proper aramana for such citta until it becomes habits. Before understanding the truth, no thought about seeing as it is that which experiences the object, and it can be known, the characteristic which arises to experience, not the object which is the experience. See, beginning to develop the habits of attending to the characteristic of what is there right now, whether it is more often enough or just not at all or once in a while. But the more understanding, the more it becomes the object, it is the upa nisaya kojra, the habits to attend to the nature which is there, to understand the truth, until it's so strong, upa nisaya kojra. Because no doubt about this, Dhammadara, understanding that it's that not permanent at all, and so on. Or about Dhamma, the truth of it is Dhammadara, the understanding of that level. And Kojara is the object, the proper object for the for Citta. For example, sound is the Kojara for hearing only. See, because the Citta before seeing can experience not only visible object, and the Citta after seeing can experience not just only visible objects, see, but seeing experience just only visible object. That's why the visible object is the kojra of seeing in that sense or that meaning, and the other meaning is the habitual object for right understanding to develop until it's strong enough to be in daily life. And the moment when it's there, it protects wrong understanding and all other akusa, araka, not to go wrong, not to be akusala. See, until it is upanibandha kojara, so very common anytime in daily life. The habits of understanding the truth, understanding the characteristic which appears little by little as it is. Dhammadara. So the connection of dhammas are there, moment to moment. No one. And right understanding can understand the nisaya, upanishaya of anyone. Each one has different accumulation of upanishaya, kotra, of upanishaya, patriya. It's daily life. Dhamma is daily life. Understanding Dhamma is understand what is there right now, not just the word in the book. It's beyond any word because it's deeper and deeper and deeper. But when there is the glimpse of understanding the characteristic of a reality, it can understand a little more than word. And that is Dhammadra.
Dạ, dạ, rất là sâu sắc rất là hữu ích. Con xin tri ân Acha nhiều lắm
That is very deep, Ajahn. Very grateful for your explanation. Thank you.
It is just the first round. See, what about the second round and the third round? Deeper and deeper. More difficult to eliminate. More and more difficult. That's why Panya has to be so keen, so great, so clear, to understand what is there now as it is, while now it does not appear as it is, because there's no Panya, is the object of ignorance and attachment. But when it's the object of Panya, Dhammadara, on and on and on and on. No doubt about the 3 rounds of the Four Noble Truths.
Your microphone is muted, Sarah.
With regard to the verse that Hai has quoted, the Dhammapada verse, just as we have mentioned, it's not a matter of being very articulate or well spoken, and it's not a matter of having learnt a lot of the text, having a lot of book knowledge or Pali knowledge or knowing the terms by heart. But even if it's just a little that one's heard and understood, then this is Dhammadara, understanding the true meaning, understanding what is the right gochara to be understood, the object now, what is seen now, confidence in what is to be understood, what is the truth, no matter what anyone says, no matter how much or little one has read, no matter whether one knows the terms or not, the understanding and confidence in what is real, what appears now, what is to be known. And this is the way the habit develops, the Upanishya Gochara, becoming more and more familiar with the objects to be understood now according to accumulations. Like for some people, it's so apparent that it's just sound that is heard now. For some, they consider a lot about seeing and what is seen now. Whatever appears now, Vedana, kindness, aversion, just different dharmas. So the habits develop, the good habits of understanding different realities now. So it's a good verse that Hai quoted. And so many places in the suttas, the Buddha reminds us it's not about how much is read, how much is heard, but the understanding. The understanding of a few words is more precious than the entire Tipitaka read with no real understanding about the Dhamma now. Thanks, Ha.
Cảm ơn chị Hà. Chị Hà có muốn hỏi thêm câu nào vẫn trong chủ đề này hay là chủ đề khác không ạ?
Dạ, em muốn muốn được rõ thêm ba vòng luân á. Dạ, pháp
Ba
luân.
vòng tuệ luân ạ? Ba tuệ luân ạ?
Dạ, tuệ luân á. Lúc nãy Ajahn có nhắc cuối cùng á.
Vâng.
Làm rõ.
Có điểm nào cụ thể không ạ? Hay là chỉ nhìn chung muốn nghe lại thôi ạ?
Dạ, cũng muốn nghe lại thôi ạ.
Dạ. By the way, as you mentioned about Satchayana, so she'd like to hear again about Satchayana, Kichayana, and Katanyana.
So as you know, Satya means truth. So what we're talking about when we're talking about Dhammadara and Upanishya Gotra is the truth about reality now, that there is firm understanding, firm intellectual understanding. Like as Ajahn said, if someone says to you, surely it's not true that it's visible object seen, what will you say? What will you think? Is it firm enough no matter what one hears or reads or what the other teacher says? What is true at this moment? Is it firm enough that no thought of going to a special place or sitting in a particular posture or closing one's eyes in order to have understanding? So the Satchayana is the firm intellectual understanding, so firm that it can condition the direct understanding when not led astray, no thought of what I should do. And when it is direct understanding, kicha jnana means understanding, panya, and kicha is the task or function to be developed. The task is to develop understanding of realities, kicha jnana. So when there is direct understanding, no doubt at those moments about what is the task, what is the path, what is the way, because it's directly understood. And only the kicha jnana can lead to kata jnana. Kata means what has been done. So moments of vipassana jnana, moments of enlightenment, the task has been done. There has been the clear understanding of realities at different levels, different stages, but so clear what is nama, what is rupa, what is the conditioned nature of dhammas arising and falling away, not just thinking about it, but clearly understood when the realities arise and fall away one by one. So these are the levels of understanding. I don't think we have to try to equate different ways of considering dhammas, like if we're talking about Upanisya Gotra and Araka Gotra and Upanibandha and then Satchanyana and so on. I don't think we need to say it's exactly this is this. I think it's more helpful to just consider according to the way that we are reflecting about dhammas. Otherwise, it's kind of I trying to put them into different pigeonholes. That's just how I see it. So if I'm reflecting about Satchanyana, Kitchanyana, I don't at the same time think, well, is this Dhammadra or is it Upanisya Kotra? Just consider as it is. Just different ways of considering panya, which has to develop stage by stage, little by little, Pariyati, Patipati, Pativeda, different ways of considering the development of panya, each from a slightly different aspects. Like when we talk about Satchanyana, Kitchanyana, Katanyana, is particularly referring to the development of understanding of the Four Noble Truths. This is why there are 12 rounds, so 3 levels, 4 noble truths at each level. And it doesn't mean that when there is Kichanyana, there is no Satchanyana, because there cannot be direct understanding of dhammas all the time. So sometimes direct understanding, sometimes intellectual understanding, sometimes ignorance, sometimes attachment. So we're just talking about different dhammas, not anyone who does anything, not anyone who develops understanding. Perhaps
Con Chan, con Sarah, dạ con rõ hơn tí rồi ạ. Dạ.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Achan. Chị nhìn thấy em Thắm cũng đã mở camera, không biết là em Thắm có định đặt câu hỏi nào không?
Em không chị ạ.
Dạ, có đạo hữu nào có câu hỏi nào muốn đặt ra thì xin giơ tay ạ. Cô Hòa, con mời cô. Cô Hòa định hỏi đúng không ạ? Cô Hòa định hỏi có phải không cô Hòa? Hay chỉ đang bị trục trặc về
Dạ, mô Phật.
want to ask a question? Dạ con mời cô.
Ở bên đấy có nghe được không ạ? Ở bên này nhưng mà cũng bị mưa hơi ồn ạ. Có nghe không ạ?
Nghe rõ ạ.
Có nghe. Vâng ạ. Kính thưa A Chan cùng hai vị thầy, là con có cái chỗ hiểu sai là cái khi mà hôn trầm thủy miên á, là tâm thì nó khi nó xuất hiện thì nó có những cái biểu hiện như là dã rượi buồn ngủ, thì con lại cho đó là sắc do tâm sinh, nên con có cái chỗ lầm lẫn này. Nay con xin được nghe để hiểu đúng về sắc do tâm sinh là như thế nào ạ?
So the question concerns the topic that we discussed last time about Tina and Mida. So we know that Tina and Mida are Nama, but when we talked about being sleepy, for example, we also think about things like the eyes are collapsing and being no energy, feeling tired, and so on. So there's a confusion between nama and the experience of rupas here. So I think that is a good topic to explore more. So would you please explain? Because there are certainly rupas that are conditioned by chitta, but we confuse nama and rupa here.
Yes, I agree that it can be confusing. We know that Tina and Mida arise with kinds of dosa or kinds of lobha that are weak, that are not strong, but prompted. And we know it can be even now in the discussion or when falling asleep or any time. So as you say, it's just referring to akusala chaitasikas that arise with akusala chitas, nothing to do with the eyelids dropping or falling asleep, for example. So this is why the Dhamma is so subtle, because we're talking about particular namas, even when one may look energetic when one is running around. There may be Tina and Mita lazy to have any kusala, for example. So it's not about the physical appearance. But let's see if Ajahn would like to add more.
Is there any time you feel like discouraged? Or not at all?
Dạ, có ạ.
Yes, Ajahn, there are.
It's different from moment when one is so courageous. Is that right? Is there
Khi
any
hiểu thì rất là hoan hỉ muốn học nữa.
is there any condition to make it different? To be discouraged or to be courageous?
Khi tà kiến hiểu sai, hoặc là khi không hiểu thì phát sinh chán nản. Còn khi đủ duyên để nghe mà hiểu thì rất là muốn tiếp tục được lắng nghe thêm ạ.
She said when there are ditti, miccha ditti, wrong view, and or ignorance, and there's no understanding, then one feels discouraged. But when one has some
What you
understanding,
mean? What, excuse me, what do you mean one feel discouraged at moment of such? Say it again, please.
yes, she said that when there's some wrong view or
Okay.
ignorance, yeah,
Then what?
Là có thời điểm
then
con
she
học thì
feels
con thấy là
discouraged.
học hài nó cũng như vậy, nên là có những thời điểm thì nó cảm thấy như việc học này nó
Nhưng mà con nghĩ ở đây
không phát triển
Trang
tiến bộ.
không nói về việc là học pháp, chỉ nói chung thôi ạ. So she said that sometimes she feels discouraged with the learning of Dhamma because seemingly no progress. So in that condition, she feels discouraged.
What makes it discouraged?
Chắc là do không hiểu ạ, chỉ là sự ghi nhớ, nên là nó cảm thấy như ngay lặp đi lặp lại mà nó không đủ duyên để suy xét, nên là chắc là con nghĩ do không hiểu.
I think because of not understanding, when one just hears the same thing again and again without understanding, no consideration, wise consideration, then one is discouraged.
In truth, the method encourages or discourages no one at all. Is that the point of listening to the truth? It doesn't matter that we have to name anything at all. But at that very moment, it's so true, it's there. The characteristic of that reality at that moment, no word, but it's there. What is the real nature of it? What is the ultimate truth of that very moment? I, or just realities? Try to name it or understand that even that is a reality. So, would you be courageous to understand what? The word or the name or what? Or discouraged to what? Not understanding the name or the truth or what? Each reality is so real by conditions, they are different. No one at all. Different characteristic, now unknown. But the word of truth talk about daily life, different moments. What are there? Are only different realities. One can experience the object and the other cannot. Otherwise, if we don't have the firm foundation to understand the reality as not self, we just think about the word and the term. So that moment is real. What is it? That which experiences the object or that which does not experience the object? How can the idea of self be eradicated? Without no understanding of any reality as it is, it's impossible. Even seeing right now is there. To be courage to understand it, that it's so true. Every day in life, it's there, unknown. But there are the words of truth to be able to develop the understanding of the truth. Better to understand the truth, not I, or take it as I see the whole life. All are Dhammas, when it's there, no name at all, but it has its characteristic different from the other. The moment of courage is different moment from discourage. are there to make it discouraged. Just want to hear the word or understand the reality.
Là câu hỏi đấy ạ.
Dạ. Như A Chan vừa giảng thì dù có pháp nào xảy ra, dù là không hiểu biết hay dù là cái thấy cái nghe hay là dù phấn khích thì nó đều là pháp và cần được hiểu. Nó do duyên sinh, không có ai cả. Nếu nó chỉ là một đặc tính và cần được hiểu đúng thì chẳng có pháp nào là khiến cho xa rời cái sự hiểu biết. Còn nếu như mình chỉ đi tìm thêm những cái ngôn từ thôi thì sẽ rơi vào những cái bế tắc ạ.
So like Achan said, if whatever is the Dhamma, whether one understands or one doesn't understand, whether is it liking or is it seeing, it can be understood as just a Dhamma. But when one doesn't get that and one just wants to have more knowledge, then one feels discouraged.
So who wants? See,
Loba.
Loba Achan, she said.
See, no one. What kind of citta right then when there is desire
Vâng ạ.
to see, learn to understand the truth little by little, because no one can realize the truth in this life without understanding is enough developed to that degree. So be true to the truth. No one. It's moment of hearing the very, very precious truth that no one can make anything arise. What is there is already arisen by conditions. So no understanding of the truth of what is there. When one hear more, consider more, there can be a little more understanding. That's so true. And there can be death at any moment, but there can be right understanding before death, or no understanding at all, or very little understanding, depending on conditions. So what is the most precious moment? Only that. Life is so short. Even it's so short, can there be a little more understanding? So true to the truth, that is so very, very subtle, but there can be a little understanding at a time to understand the deep and the subtle reality, little by little, to the end. The moment of seeing is not hearing, instantly, naturally, not by anyone at all, but it shows up, but no one knows. There's now seeing and then hearing, see? Learn to understand the truth, and understanding can develop, and understanding also arises and falls away. No matter what arises and falls away, the reality, seeing, is conditioned to arise and fall away. No matter what arises and falls away, it's no one, no control at all. It's gone, but the ended moment to be known right now. From moment to moment, it's there. Learn to understand life, its moment of experiencing, and then gone, and it conditions the next moment, right now, anytime in life, years and years ago. Learn to understand the truth, to let go the idea of self, discouragements, so on. Better to understand.
And so just as we discussed how Dhammadharo doesn't depend on the situation, like how much one is reading or how much one is hearing, but on the understanding and confidence in reality. So it can be when one's falling asleep and physically is so drowsy, or it can be when one's running around playing tennis anytime, any place. And it's just the same with when we talk about discouraged or encouraged, or about sloth and torpor. Anytime there can be discouragement because of not enough understanding, or thinking, clinging so much to the self. Why haven't I made more progress? Why isn't there any understanding? Just as there can be the opposite, there can be wholesome encouragement, no Tina and Mida at moments when one's lying sick in one's bed or just before death, as Ajahn mentioned, at moments of understanding. So no matter how drowsy and sick one may look from the outer appearance, we're talking about the citta. There can be understanding, there can be kindness and consideration for the others. No Tina and Mida at those times. So, like Sister mentioned at the beginning, we confuse the mental and the physical. Like even last week, Tiny Tom said, "Oh, I feel so much Tina and Mida even now." And we think it's just when we are sleeping, but actually it's referring to the akusala chittas and chaitasikas, not the how sleepy one may be in truth. So anytime there can be Satchanyana, anytime there can be Dhammadra, anytime there can be Kusala, Virya, and understanding, always back to this moment. And Tina and Media, anytime when there's laziness of the citta, lazy to be Kusala, Lobha is there, thinking of oneself. Why can't I have more? I'd like more progress. Or dosa, I don't get it. I should have more understanding. Tina and Mida are there. So it's not laziness of the body, but laziness of the citta, lazy to have kusala. So yes, in answer to your question, high in the note, when Ajahn talking about discouraged, Tina and Mida are there. So we use different words, but it's about this moment. So even now when we're listening, we may not be sleepy, but Tina and Mida can arise when no kusala, no understanding, no wise consideration, just some lobha that's not so strong, but it's there, or dosa that's there, slightly annoyed not to understand.
Just I'd like to add a couple of little words there too. I appreciate Tanajan, the way you have contrasted encouragement and courage and being discouraged. And we can say at the moment of being discouraged, there is no courage for truth. There is no courage for understanding at that moment. Now, I realize what I said that can be misunderstood, but I think they're really valuable words, because there can't always be the commitment to truth that we know supports our growth in Dhamma. They can't always be like that. Even when there is those moments of discouragement, that can be object of understanding. So even akusala can be object of understanding. So we can look at the Dhamma in that particular way, in that instance. And as we know, Dhamma is subtle. Growth in the Dhamma is slow. It doesn't happen quickly. It happens very subtly and gradually over time. And the more that it's considered carefully, even at the moment of being discouraged, can be that commitment. We can be at those moments committed to truth or committed to growth in the Dhamma, but it does take time. But I want to add that because I felt that was, I can't remember hearing those two words contrasted, courage and being discouraged, because at the essence of them, they have that word kura, which relates to the heart, the commitment to Dhamma at one level, and at the other level, sort of a commitment to a kusala, if you like. But those moments happen by conditions, and that can help us to appreciate just the nature of Dhamma as it is, as it arises at any particular time. Thank you.
The main point is that they are dhammas. Whatever we're discussing about are just dhammas, not my discouragement or courage, just dhammas that have gone. We don't need to pinpoint or look or try to work anything out.
Achan, earlier when you asked sister about being discouraged and courageous, were you referring to Tina and Mita at the moment of being discouraged?
I refer to the moment, no word. So are you looking for the word or understanding what is there when it's there?
Thank you, Achan.
Achan có phải ý Achan là dù nó như thế nào á, chỉ cũng cần phải hiểu ngay cái mà nó xuất hiện, nó là vô ngã, và dù đặc tính nó như thế nào đi chăng nữa thì nó vẫn khác. Chẳng hạn như là nhụt chí thì nó vẫn khác như là cái thấy, nó khác như cái nghe. Nên là dù nó thế nào thì cũng cần phải hiểu là nó là một pháp, nó sinh khởi do duyên. Phải ý Achan như vậy không ạ?
Achan, did you mean that whatever is the Dhamma, what needs to be understood is that it's just a Dhamma, whether it's discouraged or other things, no need to name it, but just to understand that it's just a Dhamma, different Dhamma with different characteristics.
Because in truth, it's Dhamma, not the word. To understand Dhamma is moment of understand the characteristic of a Dhamma which appears. At moment of being sleepy, do we have to find out what word? Or the characteristic is there as just a reality, a moment, condition. No one makes the right at all to understand the nature of Dhamma without naming it at all. No need to try to understand what word is used for that reality. But it's there. It's there as a reality. Even there's no word about it. No one can change its characteristic. It's there. Drowsy. See? It's there. Do we have to use any word? Even we use different words, we cannot change its characteristic at all. It's a reality. This is the way to gradually wearing away the idea of self, not just the word. The word cannot wear away the wrong understanding at all. But the reality, even we don't know the name of that moment, it's a reality that's so clear because it's there appearing. How much or how less drowsiness, or laziness, or sleepiness. Do you have to name it when it's there? Should it be known that it's just by conditions to be there and then gone? Or try so hard to what word is for that moment, whether it is Dina or whether it is Midda, because Dina is not Midda and Midda is not Dina. If we try to name it, it's not moment of understanding the truth that it's just a reality. No matter what word we use, the word cannot change the characteristic of that reality at all. Is there no Tina Metta at all? Or is there trying to know the name of it? Or no doubt about its characteristic when it's there? So study Dhamma is not study the word. Try to remember the word. Try to fit the reality to the word. Not at all. Not that at all. That's why learn to understand the reality which experiences the object and the reality which does not experience the object. Not just anything or something. We don't study, we don't learn about table and chair and television. We learn about the ultimate truth at moment of experiencing that particular object, one characteristic at a time. To understand it in truth, the word, the idea is different from the characteristic of a reality. So now, this
Vâng,
courage to
nhưng mà như là Achan vừa giảng thì con hiểu như thế này, chỉ cái pháp gì nó xuất hiện đó thì nó mới được hiểu và nó là đối tượng của trí. Nhưng mà tất cả các pháp xuất hiện ấy thì nó đều có những đặc tính riêng và phải cần trí thì nó sẽ hiểu cả các đặc tính riêng chứ ạ. Đó, con hiểu như vậy ạ.
Chan said, only what appears can be understood. And my understanding is that Panya understands both the individual characteristic and the general characteristics, like as Dhamma and as a specific Dhamma. Any comment?
how many moments? What is what in just a moment? Just one moment only. Can there be such long story? Learn to understand the truth of the reality which is conditioned to arise and gone instantly, to let go the idea of something or someone or I, because begin to consider whether it's right or wrong. Taking seeing as I see, how can it be I? It just arises by conditions. It has a reason and then gone instantly. How can it be I? Or someone, or a cat, or a dog, a snake? Seeing is just a reality at moment when it's there. And it's different from that which is seen. Who can make it arise to be different? No one at all. The truth is that There is the reality which arises and experiences the object. And there is the reality which arises, which cannot experience the object. Is that true? No one, no thing, nothing, because before it's there, it's not there. From nothing, and then something, and then nothing again. Where were they? And before the arising of anyone, where were they? There must be conditions. Learn to understand the truth of what is there, and learn to understand what condition it to arise, because it has a reason now. No one makes it arise at all. It's all there already. It's there already. How come? See? And what is it? It's a reality which experiences the object. Now the seeing sees, so we call it that which sees, the seeing, that which experiences visible object. No one at all. Be true to the truth from the very beginning. Firm confidence, Dhammadara, of Dhamma, the truth of reality. Not just learn what is Dhammadara, but no understanding of seeing as it's just a reality which experiences the object. So what is dinamita? When is dinamita? What time? It's there. By conditions, it arises with what? It's so true. But learn to understand little by little, one by one, of one reality at a time. To be Dhammadara, understanding the truth, little by little, firmer and firmer of the truth. Otherwise, it cannot be Dhammadara. Or
Like now, if discouragement appears, it's just a Dhamma, no thought at that time, well, it's also anicca and it's also dukkha. It's just a Dhamma. So it is the understanding of the characteristic of the reality that appears that leads to the stronger and stronger understanding of its nature and of the characteristic. Because when there's understanding of it, it is understood as a Dhamma. It is understood that no one there, nothing there. It's just a Dhamma. And the point of all the study is just to understand as a Dhamma, anatta, but not by saying or repeating or thinking that, oh, all Dhammas are anicca, dukkha, and anatta. It all comes back to just understanding what appears now, whatever it is, not my discouragement or my sloth and torpor or anything, just a Dhamma. Seeing now, hearing now, nothing to be caught or attended to, just what appears. The clinging and the wrong understanding that leads to the discouragement that you mentioned or tries to work out the story hinders from the understanding of just what appears very naturally. But the clinging, the wrong understanding, all these different, they're all dhammas too, just arising and falling away, also not belonging to anyone.
Dạ, không biết là cô Hòa có điểm gì muốn hỏi thêm về chủ đề hôn trầm tĩnh niệm này không ạ? maybe we can wait a little bit until she can elaborate on what she wants to hear more. But I just have a little point that I'd like to hear about. We know that the five Tinamida is one of the five Nivarana, and the five jhana factors are said to be the opposites of the five Nivarana, and Vittaka is said to inhibit Tinamida. So, can you please say a little bit about in what way it inhibits Tinamida?
I think I could just briefly mention something I came across.
Just one moment, please.
Right.
Chị Lan Khánh, mic của chị đang bị mở ạ. Yes, go on, Jonathan.
I was going to say that in the texts, and I'm looking at the Artasalani as quoted by Nina in her Jetisikas. It says that sloth has the absence of or opposition to striving as characteristic, and destruction of energy as function, etc. So if it's defined in terms of the lack of energy, then it stands to reason that if there is energy, then it counters the other one, the akusala factor, because they're closely related. One is, yeah.
And of course, if we're talking about the development of samatha bhavana, we read about the different hindrances to the development of calm. But when we're talking about the development of satipatthana, then any object can be the object of understanding. So apart from ignorance on wrong view, we cannot refer to any of these factors as being hindrances to the development of the path, because any Dhamma is anatta, to be understood as a Dhamma without selection. And of course, in the quote you gave, it's referring to kusala vitaka. So when there's tina and mida, the no kusala vitaka vichara being developed at those moments. Perhaps Ajahn would like to add more.
In truth, can we say that Nivarana hinder the kusala moment? And when you are so sleepy, would you like to consider Dhamma? Listen to it, consider it when you are so sleepy.
No
Be
energy
true.
for that.
See, so tina mita hinder, right? Kusala. All hindrances, nivarana, hinder kusala, different degrees. Because they are all
Dạ.
akusala dhamma.
Thưa Ajahn, con vẫn ở đây.
Dạ mời cô ạ.
Con vẫn ở đây đây ạ, nhưng mà vì mưa to quá con phải dí vào lỗ tai con mới nghe được. Con hỏi, con xin trình bày lại cái chỗ con hiểu là khi mà được Achan cùng và Sarah giảng thì con cũng hiểu là đúng là pháp nào nó cũng sinh khởi do duyên, mà cái chính là mình cứ đi tìm những ngôn từ để đặt tên cho nó mà không hiểu nó là pháp mà nó sinh khởi do duyên. Chính vì thế mà nó làm cho cái việc học pháp của mình nó theo một cái hướng là tư duy để ghi nhớ, chứ không phải là để hiểu về pháp ạ.
Yes, she said that excuse her because she is where she is now is training very strongly, so she cannot hear very well, so she has to put the the iPhone very close to her ears so that she can hear. And she said that through listening to Ajahn, she can get the sense that we always look for the words instead of understanding the Dhamma that appear. So because we look for the words, the way we learn the Dhamma is also always collecting more words and more knowledge and not understanding what appears.
And when it's like this, it detracts from the understanding. No kusala, vitaka, and panya. So it can lead to more discouragement. That's why I mentioned it hinders from the understanding of just what appears now. If one's trying to fit it into a pigeonhole or find the correct words or work out if it's the same as this, it's not just the understanding of what appears now.
And the friend who is listening and asking questions under difficult circumstances is a good instance of having energy for kusala, despite the difficulties.
Kusala vitaka, conditioning, wholesome consideration, and wise reflection about dhammas. No tina and mida at those moments.
Mấy em có thể hỏi cái câu hỏi của hôm trước của em về về việc mà tầng thiền xong rồi quyết định bao lâu á, em có thể hỏi câu đó.
And I think for myself,
Dạ, con xin
I'm
cảm ơn
easily.
đổ nhiều ra vấn đề ạ.
She just said thank you. She got more understanding now. Go on, Jonathan.
Well, I was going to say everyone's different, of course. So for myself, I find noisy situations a discouragement, and sleepiness or tiredness not so much. Because one feels relaxed and at ease at those times. So it all comes down to the individual. There's no rule.
Mời anh Thắm.
Em chưa biết hỏi thế nào chị ơi.
Thì hôm trước em hỏi thế nào thì em cứ hỏi thế rồi quan trọng là câu trả lời thôi.
Về cái thiền em cũng không nắm rõ đâu ạ. Em rất là lơ mơ về cái đấy. Thì chắc là em cũng không hỏi về thiền.
Thôi thế thì chị hỏi hộ em vậy.
Dạ.
When we were in the Vietnamese discussion, Miss Thắm had a question, but because she's not sure about how to put it now, so I will ask the question for her. Because we were talking about the jhana attainers, and then we give the information that for the one who has the mastery of attaining jhana, he can determine how long the jhana will last, for example. So she asked, how come it can be determined? What is the mechanism for that to be possible? Thank you.
Oh, very high level of skill is the answer.
So not first jhana, but second jhana, when there is the skill for the repeated arising again and again of the jhana chittas. And when we read the one has determined, it sounds like someone does something. But of course, we're talking about dhammas that are conditioned, not anyone in truth that can do anything at all. Like when we read about the Buddha making a resolution for this and that, we're talking about adhitthana and wholesome realities, not a Buddha, not someone who does anything else, but particularly a particular great level of skill. Just like a piano player who's very experienced, we might say conventionally can determine to play this Mozart music or that Mozart music or whatever they put their mind to, whereas the beginner can't. It's the same. So no one who does anything, no one who chooses anything, just different dhammas arising, different degrees of understanding, different degrees of wholesome mental factors, wholesome kusala samadhi, and so on.
Of course, a person cannot determine to stay in jhana longer than they have the capacity to do so. So we have to understand it in that way, that the person is just determining something that known to be within their capabilities, like a person who trains to stay underwater for a long time without coming up for air. So they can determine to stay under for that period or anything less, but not greater than the period for which they've trained. That's all. Miss Tam, any comments? Does it sound okay? Or are you more interested in the mechanism by which it happens?
Câu hỏi cho em đi Thắm.
Dạ con cảm ơn ông bà. Chắc con phải về để nghiên cứu thêm ạ. Chứ phần này con cũng rất là lơ mơ.
Thank you. She thinks that she needs to study a little more because she's not very knowledgeable about this part of the teaching.
What prompted your interest in this question, though? What? Why did you want to know?
Dạ do là trong buổi pháp đàm thì có mọi người có thảo luận đến cái phần đấy và có nói đến cái việc là sẽ có thể quyết định được là sẽ ở trong cái trạng thái thiền là bao lâu. Thế thì con mới băn khoăn là không biết là cái thực tại của cái tâm đấy là tâm gì. làm sao nó lại có thể có cái khả năng nó quyết định được cái điều đấy. Dạ.
So because of the discussion in the Vietnamese discussion, that led me to wonder what kind of reality that can determine the length in which the jhana will be, and how it can determine. I think that it has to do with Dhamma anatta. So how can something determine?
Like now, is there an intention to stay for the rest of the Zoom discussion? Or when one prepares lunch, is there an intention to make a delicious lunch? So it depends on what there is the skill for. But in any case, it's not my determination or anyone's determination. We're just talking about different dhammas, different moments of intention, different moments of viriya, different moments of samadhi, and so on. So whatever we read or hear about, it's about dhammas. So that's why Ajahn would say, what about now? What is the determination now? Can you make it happen, or does it arise by conditions and fall away instantly? Sometimes there may be an intention, for example, to stay for the Zoom, and then, like in Sister's case, suddenly it's too noisy because of the rain or too dark. Anything can happen. So just different dharmas arising by conditions. For us, so incomprehensible to understand what it's like during jhana citas. So that's why it's more useful to talk about the intention and determinations now. Wholesome or unwholesome, can anyone make one? Or is it just a kind of thinking, kind of intention arising by conditions at this moment?
And in the sutras, we read about the effect of development of wholesome qualities to a very high degree. And it says, the Buddha said that people who have developed kusala to a very high degree there can be the arising of that kusala tendency for that person more or less at will. He says, just like an ordinary person can bend their arm, the person who has developed kusala to the level of it being a power or whatever, or have developed special abilities, can exercise those powers, those abilities at will. Now, it doesn't mean that it can go on forever. There's still a limit, but the limit for these people is much higher than we can imagine. So it doesn't conflict with the teaching on anatta, dhammas being anatta. I'll give a conventional example. Some people can, when they go to bed, they can determine what time they will wake up in the morning. And they don't need to set an alarm clock. And it happens, they wake up at the time they wish to. So there's nothing in that conflicts with the teaching on anatta. It's just that that ability has been developed to a certain degree. So you could say that doing anything intentionally conflicts with anatta, but it doesn't. We intentionally move ourselves around all the time. Yes, thank you.
Vừa nãy em thấy chị Hà giơ tay đúng không ạ? Chị Hà có định nói gì không ạ?
just a few minutes left, so I think Ajahn should add any words before we finish.
Yeah, life is Dhamma. So each moment is Dhamma, no matter where we are or are Dhammas, but not understanding of Dhamma as Dhamma. That's why we learn to listen to the truth of each moment, what is there in truth. For example, at moment of being sleepy, it's different from we just have energy or courage to do something. They are different because dhammas at that very moment are different. That's why we learn why and what condition the differences between moment to moment. And in truth, what is there? Can it be someone or belong to someone or anything at all? We live in the world of ignorance and nimitta, the image, the sign of what is there, which has gone arising and falling away in split seconds, unknown. But what is left is the nimitta, the shape and form of something all the time in life. So there is people and things, the world of atta, not the word of anatta. That's why just consider to have firm confidence of the truth, so firm, that which hasn't arisen yet, and then there are conditions for its arising. As soon as it has arisen, it's gone, never to arise again. Is it true? From moment to moment, from life to life, no one at all. So learn to understand the truth when it's there. For example, everyone is sleepy sometimes, but what makes it to be sleepy? Different from moment when it's not sleepy at all. So we learn about the condition for each different moments to understand the truth. That in truth, life is just moment of that which arises to experiences an object only once in samsara, never to return, and there's no understanding of the arising and falling away of this moment at all. So it makes what appear to be the sign or the mark of something to be known as person, people, and things. But in truth, learn to understand the ultimate truth, to understand that actually what is Dhamma, what is real is Dhamma. So what is real now is Dhamma. But what is real now is not just the word Dhamma. What is real now is seeing, or hearing, or thinking, or liking, or drowsiness, or what? Laziness, or what? All are Dhammas. That's why we learn to understand the truth, little by little. No wish to try to directly experience it, because it's only panya, right understanding, the first round of the Arya Satya, understand the truth firmer and firmer, that actually what is there is just in a moment. But even we say in a moment, it's long moment, then it really is. Just the moment of arising and falling away. Who knows? If we don't learn about what is the moment before seeing, and what is moment of seeing, only seeing, and what moment after seeing, experience the same object but not seeing. See, if there's no such understanding little by little, how can there be letting go of I see, I like the object which is seeing, and so on in a day? That's why learn to understand little by little the very subtle truth of this moment, any moment in life, to understand that actually they are the one who had enlightened the ultimate truth, and he shared his understanding to the others, with the others, from word to word, to understand what is meant by Dhamma, whatever is real now, not forget, Dhammadara, It's real, but it's just a reality. It cannot be anyone. It cannot to belong anyone because it's gone, never to return. Is that the truth? Is that true? The truth of life. From moment to moment, life goes on by conditions. How can anyone stop the conditions not to condition this moment after this moment after this moment? That's why the understanding of the truth can wear away ignorance and attachment so very, very little, so very, very gradually. So understanding what is meant by parami and the Khanti Parami, Viriya Parami, Satya Parami, on and on, to be true to the truth. So just listen and be true to the truth. Sawadee. It's time now.
สวัสดีครับท่านอาจารย์สวัสดีครับ